Hi, my name's Robert Allen. I'm here tonight with Joshua Zeitler and Celeste Scheuler. We're going to read some poetry for you. It's pretty fun. We're all in the same poetry group, and tonight we get to see each other read in a different way, and I'm excited for that. To introduce myself, I'm Robert Allen. I'm a poetry coach and poet. I live in Oakland, California. Um, and I'm very excited to read tonight. But before I do so, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Celeste and Joshua. Celeste is a poet and twin mother living in Deep South. Her work has appeared in Feral, Rio Grande Review, Blood and Honey, and various anthologies. Her first poetry collection, Peonies of Resurrection, is forthcoming in February 2027 from Unsolicited Press. It's pretty wonderful. Joshua Zeitler is a queer non-binary writer based in Alma, Michigan. They're the author of The Chapbook Bliss Road from Seven Kitchens Press, and their work has appeared or is out and forthcoming in Poetry Daily, Plowshares, Foglifter, Hypertext, and elsewhere. So that's them, and I think it's pretty fun that we're reading again. I'm going to say that again because in our group we are looking at poems and doing critique, and when we read together, we're not doing that. We're just sharing our poems that are finished, and it's a very different experience. So I always enjoy doing these readings, regardless if they're in our group or not. But it's special that we're all in the same group to me. So I'll go ahead and start our reading. I tend to write micro poems, and our theme for tonight is all the forms of love. So we're all loosely writing on the subject of love. And I tend to write very short poems on love. And so I'm going to read a few of them. And I'll start with a couple unpublished. It's called Flower. We find each other like steel filings pulled together by a magnet that takes the form of an open rose. This is a translation from Catullus, Odiat Amo. I hate and I love. What can I do? It irks me, and I ache all over. This is from my first chapbook, Big Blue Hospital. It's called As We Curve Toward Evening. She's out in the garden beheading blown dahlias with kitchen scissors, making room for the next pink flourish. And these next few are from my chapbook, Aphasia. It's called Salvation. I'm screaming 24 hours a day. Only I can hear the screams. When you see me drinking tea or writing at a quiet table, you would never know how loud my mouth can be inside. Nothing has ever stopped your love. Nothing except your hands and eyes. It's called When I Remember. It's gray and no one is getting along. The household shakes as it would in a hurricane. It's gray and no one is listening. Thunder booms and lightning spears the lawn. It's gray and it's hard to remember the curve of your neck and the strength of your spine. When I recall the blaze in the blood, the buzz in the yard, all quiet themselves, all rest. I find myself in you, light in the dark as the night sky becomes ease, becomes your glowing eyes in a storm. This is a title poem from my book, Aphasia, chapbook, for the one who listens. I look to you vowing my hate, when of course I mean I love you, and it came out wrong, backward in my art, in my heart, I mean you. I can say aphasically I hate you with a deep longing for anger, and you turn to me a life, I mean a light, I mean your face, I mean your song. Then also I have it wrong again, except when I say your name, Lasara. This final one is called Panic Attack. They breathe with me until I'm calm and slow and easy, then opens my chest, a locket, and places peace there like an old photo. Our next reader is Celeste Schuyler. Celeste, would you like to read for us?
Yes. And Robert, I just have to say, I loved the last line of that last poem.
Oh, thank you.
It was it was beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to read three poems. Two of them are in my forthcoming manuscript, Peonies of Resurrection. And the third one is in another manuscript that I'm working on. But this first poem really explores the marriage between my husband and I and living with a mental illness. And I first compared you to a blue jay. 3 years before we met, friends tell me to stop reading Virginia Woolf after my suicide attempt, and an ex-boyfriend gifts me a burned CD of the Beatles at Easter. I delete and block all my exes, but I keep the complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe and the Drew Brees Jersey, and tell my therapist I want to be a writer, and my psychiatrist still won't diagnose me. In Oklahoma City, you sit quietly in the DBSA meeting with me and count out my pills, and I keep all the voicemails from your deployments. And now, in this future, I still question your apologies because I can't believe you still love me. I watch crows rifle through an overturned garbage can, and a woman in a DBSA meeting says not to tell anyone your diagnosis because they will use it against you. And the ice split parts of the mimosa tree in Altus, and I tell you I won't be going back. Your hands find mine as the word disabled sits between us, and the invasive bamboo is growing in our flower beds again. And I confess the guilt because I need you more than you need me. And I'm reminded of the blue jay diving into trees, and the lone cardinal is locked inside me, and you have the keys. This next poem is for my husband, Nick, and it's called On Believing We Don't Need a Marriage Counselor. Cracked compact mirror filling pocket of my purse. Peacock shimmering like your hands. The jade ring was meant for the right. Locking of our bedroom door, magnolia opening in your chest as you instruct me to listen, breath like ice strangling your bourbon, cigar smoke bleeding pages of a self-help book, signals of skin as your tongue touches mine. A black moon in bird's eye. We built this manuscript, atoms filling pill bottles, misunderstanding the science. Part of a gold feathered wing you sweep away. I remember the bones, hollow like the winter, before slipping into your apartment, before you could remember my name. The last poem is about the birth of my daughters, and it's called Quantum Physics. And when I am transfigured, no longer human, Sarah Alaza Johnson, silenced as a scalpel, fluorescent sun glitters across scissor tail feathers. Lengthening needle punctures. They gulf my organs into butterfly dust. The spreading of vocal cords into plastic chambers. Flesh unfurls to reveal eclipsed eyes. The ooze of umbilical lives, and my skin pines as a glued mosaic. Wires lick my hands as fracturing moon mounds, swollen plains. Machines purr oxygen into infancy lying in my arms, and echoes crawl between our faces. My heart fast to their breath. I am cedar burning into nucleus, a vagabond settling into Trovance, and the fossilized quartz glowing for their emotion minds. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's beautiful. You're welcome. Thank you, Celeste. Our next reader is Joshua Zeitler. Joshua, would you like to read?
Hi, thanks. Yeah, so wonderful to hear you both. It's a little different when we're not in group because you get to kind of sit and enjoy a little more. So I love your brevity, Robert, and like
Okay.
your lyric images, Celeste. So this first poem is a more traditional love poem, and it's based on a story from the Quran. Splitting the moon. The hour overripe, promising sweetness that stings the tongue, God split the moon in two. Miraculous, how cleanly these cleaved halves dimpled disbelief. And what was there to prove? What window was shuttered? What violence had I not suffered? Once sundered, we cannot mend it. I am half lit, half witted. Don't say I didn't warn you. Hand me a knife. I'll slice, and you choose the bigger or the brighter. Love, let's split the moon. The second poem is a little bit of a different take on love. So it's dedicated to my mother. Um, so my mother and I both love each other very deeply, but I think we had fundamental disagreements about what that love should look like. And so we've been estranged for the past 3 or 4 years, which was a hard process. And so part of the healing for me was writing this poem that imagined how that might heal. The passing. Mother, if your inheritance, the river Leith, should wash your shores early, what we called in your mother dementia, days would clack against days, clouded marbles in a drawstring sack, rules no longer applicable. You wouldn't recognize me, the changes in my body, the long silence. But ever the prodigal son, I would return. I'd move into my old bedroom, fix the kitchen faucet when it breaks, keep the water soft. I'd teach you how to shave your legs. You might learn to call me daughter each morning over cottage cheese and canned peaches. We could do this indefinitely. I promised with my first full sentence, I'm going to live with you forever. You laughed. I laughed because you laughed. We could wear sundresses through the winter, draw the blinds, see only when we choose. You and me, crying as I read you to sleep. You could mistake yourself for the child. Um, and this one's about unrequited love because why not? I will I will never write enough poems for my ex-boyfriend to love me. I will never catch the moon's reflection in the Pine River, never skinny dip in an oil spill, skin slick as a ripe cherry, nor flush the blood-thick marrow from my bones. I will never nickname all the stars and call them home for dinner, never clip my toenails in the dark, never pound the high striker, however harshly the barker pleads. I will never read the books I've bought, though I will stamp each one with my name, so the next owner must face how I wanted what I held. I will never run out of ink, never think of every highway exit with the tenderness it's earned. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. I'll never write another poem whose last lines cannot shelter us. And this final poem is dedicated to a friend of mine, Lynn Rather. She was a poet who lived here. She passed from cancer a couple of years back. But she taught me how to love the town that I live in. So, Townie. I always said I would leave this place, run first chance I got. Chicago, Boston, Seattle, anywhere. What anchored me here? I didn't know what chicory was until you named it in a poem. That June, it was everywhere I looked. Then, in a blink, nowhere. A thin white sheet pulled over all. The wolf's teeth of winter claiming you. The last night of hospice, I read poetry to your sleeping body, as if it could cradle whatever was budding in you. I've seen chicory balled tight as a noose knot, open as a tentative palm testing for rain, but never have I watched it clench like an impotent fist shaken at the heavens. Never witnessed it unfurl. There are miracles, I suppose, yet to be pried from the rib cage of the world, of this place in the world. I could leave it all, but then I hear your gravelly voice call my name, and I answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Well, thanks for listening, folks. This is Robert Allen speaking for Celeste Schuler and Joshua Zeitler. I had a good time reading for you. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you have a great day. Thank you.